Okay, the markets pulled back, what, 7-8 points. That's about it. 43 points lower. 11,041 is what we have on the Nifty at this point in time. Okay, let's get across to CNBC-TV18 exclusive. I caught up with Ajay Piramal, chairman of the Piramal Group. Remember, Piramal Enterprises had reported numbers yesterday. The focus is just twofold. One is asset quality. And how come Piramal's asset quality still continues to be so comfortable given the environment we are in, especially with respect to real estate. And the second is strategic fundraising for Piramal. So those are the two aspects that I focused on. What we're going to do is play out a small bite of that conversation I had with Mr. Piramal, and very much focused on the strategic initiatives which might be underway at Piramal. Listen in.
8 to 10,000 crores of fresh equity this year. I mean, where is that coming from? Could you provide us with some?
So we will, as I said, I'll leave it at that there will be equity, we'll bring it into this business to further strengthen it.
I mean, we had reported some time back that you're talking to players like SoftBank and GIC, etc., for an investment. Could you?
So we had also said at the same time, I'll repeat what I said, that
you had said that those proposals had not been brought forth before the board.
So I stick to the same line, that the proposals have not been brought to the board.
But could you tell us if talks are underway? I mean, are you talking to?
I would like to just state two things, that yes, we will bring in equity of 8 to 10,000, and no specific proposal has come to the board.
Okay, so I should sort of assume that the talks are still underway and they've not reached a stage where they can be put forth before
Please
the board.
don't assume anything more than what I have said.
Right, but is SoftBank a contender? I mean, are they interested?
I don't want to comment anything more than what I have already said.
Fair enough. Will this money that we're talking about come in for the existing business, or will it come for a new business? I mean, you know, retail lending, fintech.
We already, if you look at our portfolio, about 50% of our portfolio is in residential real estate. We have 11% of it is in retail. Balance it is in a corporate finance group, as we call it, and we have been saying this for a while, that we are going to increase the proportion of our retail.
Sure.
So when the equity comes in, yes, it will just strengthen our equity. Today also our debt equity ratio is amongst the lowest amongst financial services companies. It's under 4, it's about 3.8. I think that I see that the future, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. I do believe that the India story is intact. Yes, we may have taken a step backward, but it's going to come back. And for that, financial services is perhaps the most important engine. And for financial services, what you need really is equity, and money is the only raw material.
So this will come into Piramal Enterprises, or will it come into a specific business?
It will come into the lending business.
But wholesale, retail, I mean...
So it'll be, all is actually part of the same entity.
Right.
So Piramal Enterprises,
capital which has
and
both.
Housing and so it'll be somewhere there.
Okay, so it'll be used for both. I mean, the equity will be used for both the wholesale and the retail. When will this close? By when can this...
So as I've said, that in this financial year, we expect to bring in this equity.
Okay, so are we okay, you don't want to give a specific timeline. The other thing is the stakes you still have in Shriram City Union and Shriram Capital, right? Where are you at?
So we have said this publicly, and we've said this now for more than a year, that we believe that this is not a strategic investment for us, it's a financial investment, and at the right time we would exit from the Shriram Group.
Is it the right time?
So the time, you know, today, how can you, every day is a new day. The way there's so many changes happening every day, I don't know which is the right time.
Okay, so will this also happen though in this financial year? I mean, that is also
we are looking at that, yeah.
Okay. Could this 8 to 10,000 crores be, I mean, via selling these stakes, or is this sort of fresh investors coming in?
I just leave it at that we will...
Okay, just one last point. This is what is coming in, but what are you doing about, I mean, there is lots of talk about you acquiring sort of distressed assets. There is a big HFC which is in trouble, and it's got a large size retail book. Does something like that fit in the strategy of expanding the retail side of things?
So we do look at, we will look at assets, and we will look at portfolios of assets, and again, depending on the quality of assets. It also depends whether we want to take people along with it or it's just the asset. And it also depends on at what valuation. So if it makes sense, we will do it.
Are you talking actively to people with?
So people do come up today in this environment that there are assets. We'll see. It's too early. So yeah, we are talking to them.
Okay, well, quite a candid conversation coming there, Prashant. What do you think probably stood out the most? Do you think that maybe there could be the divestment of the Shriram stakes that could happen this year?
So this financial year we'll see a lot of action, right? Both outgoing and incoming. I mean, outgoing with the sort of them trying to acquire stressed assets, and also them bringing in a lot of investment into the company, 8 to 10,000 crores. I mean, this is something that we had reported that they're talking to SoftBank and GIC. But I think the interesting bit was, I mean, I think Mr. Piramal made it clear that the money is coming into Piramal Capital, which is the subsidiary of Piramal Enterprises, step-down subsidiary, which basically houses the lending book, both wholesale and retail. And he said that the money will come into that and it'll support both wholesale and retail. I think there was a fair bit of talk about where this money is going to come in. It is going to come into some other entity outside of Piramal. So then, I mean, there's no point looking at Piramal from an angle of fundraising, but he clarified that this is very much in Piramal Capital, which is a subsidiary of Piramal Enterprise itself. So I think that was some clarity that was important. And of course, there was other bits about, I mean, Mr. Piramal expecting the economy to revive and saying, well, we've taken a step back, admitting that we've taken a step back on growth, but saying that, well, it has to revive. And there was a fair bit more, but we just wanted to focus on the transactions.
Anything specific on the real estate business?
So, I mean, he says that they're expecting a turnaround. I mean, I asked him, why does he expect there should be a turnaround? He didn't really say how it's going to happen, but he kind of sort of went back to the budget and talked about why, I mean, the schemes that the government has announced, etc., etc. And he said they're waiting for the actual regulations of what was announced in the budget to be announced and see what kind of impact there is. He talked about PSU bank recap, more lending, NBFCs have been helped in the budget. So yeah, I mean, they're expecting the underlying market to improve. I mean, at the end of the day, the homes have to start selling again, right? I mean, that's the only solution. You can do all this structuring and all of that, but at the end of the day, I mean, people have to go out and start buying a property, which is not happening right now.
Okay, well, anyway, let's get talking about the technicals of the market now. We have Kiran Jadhav who's joining in to discuss that. Kiran, over to you. What is your recommendation today? We've pulled back a little bit. Can you just tell us what you're strategizing?
Yeah, on the Nifty, we have broken crucial supports, and now we were testing the psychological ones, and supports keep coming down at lower levels. That's the worst thing that can happen. However, today's, if you look at the chart pattern, we have made a lower low, but have held on to that 11,000 mark, which is a kind of breather to the bulls. And right now we are again trading towards the higher end of the day. If we consolidate around these levels and we move above the highs of the day, all the day we have seen a lot of selling, and that short covering would propel the markets up to test the 11,100 and move even further for it. So I am hoping against hope, but I feel that the undercurrent should be there, and my stop loss for now would be just below 11,000, say 10,990 or so. Take a long position, take a small risk, and I believe that if 11,100 is taken off, by tomorrow we will be somewhere around 11,150 plus levels. So I have strategized my trades according to that. Two counters which look good to me. One is Amara Raja batteries. Amara Raja batteries, if you look at this chart, it is going strength to strength for a good amount of period, and this is where I would place my bet for now. I would suggest buying Amara Raja batteries August futures right now. Stop loss will be 642, trading at 647 right now. And target for today or today evening or maybe tomorrow early morning should be 663. Another counter which catches my eye is MGL. MGL is one counter which is showing good traction from lower levels. I believe 787 should be a stop loss for August futures, now trading at 793.50. And I expect this stock to move to 807 to 813 by tomorrow early morning.
Okay, Kiran, appreciate you running us through those trades, and your market views appreciated as well. Appreciate you joining in on the show. Well, the market is pulling back, Ekta. So we've got a 25-point cut now, right? 11,060. So this is interesting. Yeah. We were down about 55 or 60 odd points actually half an hour ago, and there is a pullback underway. The Nifty Bank is down 66. There also there is a bit of a pullback. I mean, maybe I can just look at what's moved in the last couple of last hour or so, and tell you what is doing what. So Hero MotoCorp is pulled back. It's up about 4.6%. There is Sun, which is up about 2 3/4. The banks, yes, IndusInd are doing well. I mean, actually, those are the two top gainers in terms of banking today on the Nifty. And what else? I mean, in terms of large heavyweights, maybe at the margin something is losing less now. Kotak, Maruti, not very much. It's pretty scattered out there, but it is showing up on the index with that already the 30-odd point pullback on the Nifty. That has happened in the last, 10-15 minutes of trade. We'll come back to this in just a bit and get you more opinion. But more than 24 hours after Cafe Coffee Day co-founder VG Siddhartha went missing.